Yes, dear.
Well, kind friends all gathered round, there's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. Here we go. So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain. I've learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. But like sunshine on a cloudy day, stand before me now. So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Now love is born in fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you are ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It'll be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. You must give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Thank you, John. Very, very enjoyable. For you people that aren't here all the time, you would notice that there was a little greeting from the dog that came in. Okay, that's part of our routine. And usually they're here a little earlier, but when Benny comes in, as soon as he is told that it's okay, he has to charge up and see me. So this is something that is part of our Sunday morning service. So
I tried to calm that down. But it doesn't work because she's up there.
Is there something?
Her phone's not working. Not very much.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Is that better now? Oh, okay. Well, do you want me to tell you about the dog again?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Benny always has to say hi when he comes in. That's part of our Sunday morning routine. As you've noticed, we are pet friendly, and Benny is here quite often. When Reverend Georgie Richardson is here, her dog is here. And I never remember what kind of dogs they are. She has a couple of them, and one comes in with, and that's a big dog, but it's a service dog, and so it's Bernese Mountain Dog. And so that isn't one that you get to interact with because she's on duty. So that gets interesting. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Today we have with us John Myers as our musician. Thank you, John. I know a lot of you know him. And our speaker today is Sandra Combs. And I think at this point in time, I'm going to light the Christ candle. Is that going to be okay?
Two thumbs up.
Two thumbs up.
Yep. Just so you don't have all thumbs when you're trying to light that.
Boy, you got this figured out today, don't you? Uh-huh. And as I try to remind us every Sunday when I light this is strictly meant to be a visual reminder of the Christ light that is within all of us at all points in time. So that's what that is all about. And now if Sandra will do the opening prayer, please.
This gives us a moment to come together and to be together right at the start of basically our day, isn't it? So on Sunday. So I ask that you close your eyes, breathe in the Spirit of God. Just breathe in that love of God, that reassurance of who we are. Mother, Father God, we thank you with all our hearts. We thank you from the bottom of our very soul that we are here in this world learning to be your expression. We're so blessed to have a unity community to come to worship at, to fellowship with. And you have made that possible through the goodness of your very essence. We accept the information today as something that you want us to hear. That we open up our hearts to the message and the music today, that we may be one with you and therefore one with one another. So we thank you, God, in advance for a wonderful service. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Sandra. And now we are going to do the song, Be the Love You Are, and you will find the words of it on a sheet of paper in your bulletin.
Be the love you are. Be the love you are. Just as Master Jesus taught us, be the love you are. Shine the light you bear. Shine the light you bear. Just as Master Jesus taught us, shine the light you bear. Sing the song you hear. Sing the song you hear. Just as Master Jesus taught us, sing the song you hear. Know the joy of life. Know the joy of life. Just as Master Jesus taught us, know the joy of life. Be the love you are. Be the love you are. Just as Master Jesus taught us, be the love you are. Just as Master Jesus taught us, be the love you are.
John, that was beautiful. I have never heard that before. I liked it. It was very, very nice. And now's the time when I remind all of us of the prayer box right here. On the back of the pews, you will find prayer requests. You're welcome to fill one out and put it in the bowls when they come around. Bring them up here and put them in the box. Put them in our prayer corner back there. However you would like to handle it. Once a month, they are sent back to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for an additional 30 days in the prayer chapel. Are you going to do announcements?
Well, sure.
Oh, the last I knew he wasn't going to.
Can't that break change his mind?
Must remain flexible.
Here, come here. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's my very special holiday, my favorite holiday. In addition, maybe to Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and Labor Day and
4th of July.
Memorial Day,
July.
4th of July.
But it's also my sweetie bear's birthday. So that's why it's my special holiday.
But also, we need to remember when you're talking about that, the 6th of February was Phyllis's birthday.
Oh, okay. No, happy birthday, Phyllis.
And
great.
if Jackie was with us today, her birthday's tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, anyway, to celebrate Valentine's Day, we will have our world-famous, renowned in all quarters of this block, waffle brownies downstairs. These are something I do on Valentine's Day, that you kind of make a brownie out of waffles, or you make a waffle out of brownies. I'm not
And they're
sure.
heart-shaped. It's a special waffle iron that makes
With
heart-shaped.
whipped cream. So join us for that. That's going to be fun. There's also some gluten-free stuff down there, too. I didn't eat all of it. All right. Next week, Reverend Georgie's with us. That's always a good time. Be here for that, so you don't want to miss Georgie. I don't know who's doing the music next week. I think I forgot to book anybody. What are you up to?
Oh, he's in Salem next week.
All right, well, we'll have somebody. Maybe I'll just hum a few verses of Kumbaya or something.
I think I'll stay home.
But we'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll worry
All right, well,
we'll
that's
worry
next
about
week.
that later. No.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Hello?
Have anyone by Sunday, I would bless with music for you.
Okay, well, we'll work it out. I may have booked somebody, I don't know. It's my brain has been a little fuzzy this week.
Well, we've had a 32-year-old grandson come stay with us that we didn't know.
We've never met.
We've never met.
that's
That's
been
Jason
fun.
that was here last week? Okay, yeah. So Jason has been here for the week, and he's extremely high energy, to say the least. And John and I are accustomed to our way of doing things, and we're not exactly accustomed to another individual living with us.
So that was fun. That's
So-
been fun.
so-
So yesterday we took him down and put him on top of the mountain with his Uncle Jeff.
Yes.
And now they're having a good time. Yesterday, as I left, they followed me down the path and walked down by a field and saw two great big deer in the field. And they were marveling at these beautiful deer in the field. Uncle Jeff said, "Jason, stand right here and we'll get a rifle." And
Which is not
one
the
of
way
the
Jason
deers-
would look at it.
One of the deer heard that and turned and said something to the other deer, and they decided they would mosey along. And they split just as a mountain lion pounced out of the bushes to go get the deer. So Jason got a,
Wild kingdom.
yeah, you know, he did that. So I'll
Doodah
talk to
day,
him.
divine order, divine action.
All right, anyway, that's all I got. Be here next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, now where are we at? That was the announcements. Okay. Now we're to the monthly affirmation. So if you will take the card out of your bulletin, please. We'll do the one for Unity by the Sea first. Unity by the Sea is a perfect expression of God's love. And for ourselves, I am a perfect expression of God's love. And so it is. Yes, yes. And now it's time for the daily word, and I have asked Blythe if she would do it for us today, please.
And I said yes.
I'm sorry.
The word for the day is change. I rely on the guidance of Spirit to lead me through necessary changes. I have learned through experience that change is an essential element of my spiritual journey. I have also learned that I have within me all the guidance I need to make the choices that will most effectively move me forward. Change is simply the consequence of choice. I do not need to resist it, nor do I need to seek it out forcefully. I relax and trust the guidance of Spirit within me to show me the changes that are mine to make and to lead me away from the changes that are not needed on my path. If former negative ways of thinking reappear, I turn within to step forward boldly in faith. I rely on the guidance of Spirit to lead me through necessary changes. I am about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Isaiah 43:19.
Thank you, Blythe. And now John is going to do some music, and then it's Sandra's turn.
Hey, this is a song from the Burns sisters. They're 3 or 4 sisters from upstate New York that have put out any number of albums, but it's called Dance Upon the Earth, and it kind of speaks to my religious experiences. I'm gonna dance upon this earth. I'm gonna find the joy in all this madness. I'm gonna be the one that you see, living in the here and now and feeling free. I remember he's been a dreamer since I was a little child. Someone's always trying to change me. That can't happen now. I'll do what I please. Yeah, I'm gonna dance upon this earth. I'm gonna find the joy in all this madness. I'm gonna be the one that you see, living in the here and now and feeling free. I remember from my childhood words my mama gave to me. Jesus died for all the sinners. Got a huffer in this world to find eternity. No, I'm gonna dance upon this earth. I'm gonna find the joy in all this madness. I'm gonna be the one that you see, living in the here and now and feeling free. I'm so tired of feeling angry, holding someone else's pain, in a world so cold and full of sorrow. Well, I'm gonna find a way, I'm gonna break the chain, yeah, I'm gonna dance upon this earth. I'm gonna find the joy in all this madness. I'm gonna be the one that you see, living in the here and now and feeling free. I'm gonna dance upon this earth. I'm gonna find the joy in all this madness. I'm gonna be the one that you see, living in the here and now and feeling free. Yeah, I'm gonna dance upon this earth. I'm gonna find the joy in all this madness. I'm gonna be the one that you see, living in the here and now and feeling free. Dancing on this earth, that's where I'll be. Keep dancing.
That was fun. That was very fun. Thank you. Thank you. Hello again. Hello. Hello, hello. Get organized here. You know, as we prepare to celebrate Valentine's Day this week, it's important to remember something, to remember the true meaning of love. It's spirit within us. It's the love that's within us that we freely express out with compassion. So love and compassion are united. And so, like John, this is really my favorite holiday. Well, there are others, but it is because it gives us all an opportunity to come together in love with that consciousness in our minds as our feet hit the floor on February 14th. But also today, you knew that this would be a subject matter today, I'm sure. So I don't want you to get caught up in the cards and the flowers, or this would be my style, not getting cards or flowers. I get caught up in that. But I want to remember the divine love. I'm going to dedicate this February 4th to divine love, and I'm going to look deeply into it. I'm going to spend my day on February 14th actually being on the road with someone that I love so dearly, and that's my grandson who just came back from South Korea, from the military, and he's on his way to his next assignment, so he's taking his grandfather's truck, and I'm going to ride with him. So I get him for 4 days in a little cab of a little truck. So it's going to be enrich my world. And I hope that there's a time when he might think of me that way too, that I might enrich his world. I think he's getting there. You know, maturity does come around. So don't give up on your grandson there, who's got all the energy. So as we focus on being centered and humble, rather than coming from a falsely large or falsely small place. Does that resonate with anybody? So people who aren't centered in God tend to either act larger than life, which is the selfish and narcissistic side of us, or overly meek, which is the weak and victim side of us. But when we come from our authentic, courageous center, when we are connected to God, then we instead tend to be humble, and we tend to be, what would I like to say, clear about who we are and what is our purpose, and to interact with others with little or no sense of being falsely large or falsely small. There's so many examples of our master teacher, Jesus, and Martin Luther King in our lifetime, Mother Teresa in our lifetime, Gandhi in some of our lifetimes. And we know that they did their work in so humbly And they increased the love consciousness of the world through their works, their God-given work that they did. So I ask all of us to recognize in ourselves and into others the difference between our large self and our small self, that falseness within us. I ask that you recognize that within yourself. Oop, I'm doing it again. Oop, oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. And I also encourage you not to let the large people bully you into doing what they're asking you to do. Or I'm asking you not to let the small person suck you into their story. You don't need to know their story to love them. But they think you do. They think you need to know their story so you'll love them. So be cautious of those two images of human nature, because they're smoke screens. Both of them are smoke screens, and they're smoke screens within ourselves. So by maintaining our center, then we're offering a new way to them. By being in our own self, recognizing ourself with a capital S, not a blowhard self, the capital S. We give other people permission then to find that within themselves and to accept that gift of love that we are giving them. It's important that they have the trust just in your presence, the trust in your large S self, that they can in fact accept your gift. And in doing so, then you accept their gift, that they're giving themselves to you. So today I was going to talk about the irresistible power of love. And I don't know, I'm sure some of you know the name Mary Rowland. She was the head of Unity, Silent Unity, for a long, long time, before I really was alive, I think. But maybe in some of my early years when I wasn't aware of Unity. But anyway, she was really something. And she said something that I've never forgotten. And she said, and I quote, "When your heart is filled with love, you will not be critical or irritable, but you will be divinely irresistible." Divinely irresistible. Oh, I'm all for that. I am like, okay, I'm on board. This thought made such an impression on me so many years ago that it never left me. And so when today was coming up and I knew that I was going to get to be down here with you, I kept thinking, what can I talk about in love that hasn't been said 10,000 times? Just I'm sleeping on it for a couple weeks, and whatever, and then all of a sudden I remembered this irresistible power of divine love, and I thought, oh, I gotta find that. Do you know that it hardly took me any time to find it? It literally tumbled out at me on a piece of paper that I had written when I heard it. It was my handwriting. And that was, let's see, I probably heard it back in the mid to later 90s. And so, as I said, I had never forgotten it, and there it was, it just showed up. And I look back on that and I think, that term, that thought, that affirmation has repeated itself over and over again in my life. It's repeated itself over and over and over again in my mind. When I was walking into unsure ground, I would connect with her in some way around that. And whenever things got inharmonious or unhappy, there were times when I would remember that it would just pop into my mind, just like it fell out of the bookshelf this last week. So when your heart is filled with love, you will not be critical or irritable, but you will be divinely irresistible. And my friend Joan, who's driven down with me from Portland today, we went to breakfast, and the lady gave us our bills, and Joan was charged for 3 cups of coffee, and she just had 1. And so when the waitress came to pick up our dishes or whatever, Joan was so sweet, she said to her, "You've charged me for 3 cups of coffee. What does that mean?" So gentle, and the waitress said to her, "Oh, it means that I'm stupid." And Joan and I both simultaneously said to her, "Oh, no, you're not. You know, I mean, you're perfect." And so that was not being irritable. How many times have you seen somebody just get furious because somebody overcharged them for something? You know? How many times have you, and you kind of like want to be a turtle and pull your head up because it's kind of embarrassing, to say the least. So I ask you, what is it that we want to be irresistible to? What do you want? Well, you want to be irresistible to the true, to the good. You want to be resistible to life. Did I say resisted, or did I say well, never mind. You're all, these are all starting to sound alike. I'm going to have to move on. But by our ugly, so I know what I was going to say. So when your life is good like that, when you're in sync with that, that's what we want. We don't need, the Taj Mahal. We just need to be conscious of love. And then everything lines up. And so, on the other hand, when you know that you can be cross, as my mother used to say, ugly, you can be irritable or impatient or whatever it is that Joan was not, that when we build up that wall of resistance around us, that the good has to stay out of us because we have a wall and a barrier up. And so we have to pay attention to our own behavior, not the guy next door. We have to pay attention to our own behavior. And we have to wonder why, at that point, we're not happy, or why we're not healthy, or why we're not prosperous, or why we're not making good relationships in our lives. Because when we're in a state of irreparably, I was trying to change the word, but I can't. Anyway, never mind. When you're in that state, you are pure. You are in bliss. And nobody has to give that to you. And when we are in that state, we don't have to fake it. We can acknowledge the good within us and with everything when you let that flow come through you. Because when we don't do it, we know that without love there can't be any happiness. Really, you think about that. It's a facade. Because we don't have the real connection. It becomes something else. It's usually a manipulation of some kind, or it's a deep-seated fear, like the loud self or the quiet self. You know, it usually has got something else to say. So the person who thinks that the world has treated them very badly, for example, and that no one understands them or no one likes them and that everyone is against them. You know people like that, don't you? I know somebody, I won't say who, because they're working on it, but but you've heard someone say that that someone is holding their good from them. Have you? I have heard that. I was kind of struck by it. I mean, it didn't make much sense to me. How could you hold good from me? And yet maybe I was buying into it at that moment. I don't know, but I remember being kind of surprised. So only one's lack of insight, lack of love and understanding can make that person think that all is well, that God is here and all is well. Well, and the only thing that works against anyone in their failure to express the love of God is when we are willing to express it. When we don't think, which I used to do, oh my gosh, I've gone over the top. I used to think that a lot about my laughter. In fact, last time I was up here, I laughed at John. John talking about football, and I called you guys sitting in bleachers. I got a little, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. I laughed all the way back to Portland on the bleacher thing. So when one cultivates the love of God and is willing to let it express itself, that quickly frees us. But we have to be conscious, don't we? So that's one thing about February 14th that's so wonderful, because it makes us conscious. And I also want to say, I don't want you to confuse sentiment and sympathy with love. I am speaking to you today on the purity of love. Love, all caps, L-O-V-E. That purified, transcendent love. That divine love, the power of divine love. We preach it all the time. So I'm sure that most of you can draw on that from time to time, because of course we have difficulties, and how do we maneuver those difficulties? That's the important thing. So the first thing is to know that love is creating that irresistibility in you. And let that love express out through you, which is, like I said, sometimes you feel like you're over the top, You don't run around saying to someone, oh, I love you, personal stranger. But your eyes can say it. Your smile can say it. When we recognize and then encourage it in ourselves, not to be afraid of it. I have always told you that, or those of you that have heard me before, so often I say about homeless people, give me the opportunity to bless them. I may not have money to give them, or I may not have an extra apple in my car, but I bless them. And I love them in my heart as I drive by them. And that is such a blessing to me. It smooths out all the turns on the road. All the crazy driver, or what I would call crazy driver. They probably think I'm a crazy driver too, but I'm getting slower in my old age, I know that. They're going to be honking at me pretty soon. So if you feel a lack of satisfaction and harmony in your life, if your life seems hard, and the way seems awful, have you ever been in that spot? Awful. Yeah. It is likely that you are inhibiting love. So pay attention. So the first step in remedying that, of course, is to forget about your personal self and to cultivate that irresistible power of divine love in your life. It will overcome it immediately. I dare you to try it. I double dare you to try it. I triple dare you. Yeah, just go away. You're perfectly fine what you're doing, sir. You know? And then whatever is the situation, and then you bless that situation and you bless that person, because now you know that they are coming from that loud self. They're smoke screening the world. They're covering up their fear. And then you can, you then realize that that person who's being, a tough nut, you realize that person needs your consciousness. They need to be able to feel that love within you, because they believe me. How many of you have felt it from other people? I have 1,000,000 times. I had a teacher back at Unity that none of us could get enough of. We were around him. If we could have been 24 hours a day, I'm sure his wife wouldn't have liked that. But we were, you wanted to be with him because he was so radiated love like crazy. And I can think of a dozen people just sitting here right this minute. You're all radiating it back to me because you have opened up this topic. And you have opened it up in your mind, in your heart, and it's now in divine order. That's just how it works. It's that simple. And so you and I probably don't really need February 14th, but we love February 14th, don't we? We love it. So the love of God is just a wonderful, wonderful thing for us, and it will totally take over our lives if we allow it. If we permit it, that's the key. We must permit it. Break down those walls and barriers, and you do that with prayer, and you do that with consciousness, and you will see that you will have a smoother road to go. I know firsthand. I am speaking firsthand of having lost the love of my life, not Kyle, but the number one love of my life, my husband, this last year. And how much this love from God and from others has touched my heart, has given me strength when nothing else has actually, where I wouldn't even be aware of what I was missing. You know what I mean? I would be so shut down. So I also wanted to give you just a little hint on something else. If any of you ever wish to clear up a misunderstanding with someone, you don't have to do that face to face, unless you're moved to do that. It's not wrong. I'm just saying, but it's not necessary. So let's say you want to ask forgiveness or forgive someone that's already made their transition, or someone that's in another state across the country or whatever. They don't have to be with you for their soul to be healed on that hurt. And you do that through prayer and through consciousness of love. Got it? So it dissolves all the tensions and all the things. Have any of you ever experienced that? Where you feel your body just let go? Yeah, just let go. And yeah, he's shaking, some of you are shaking your heads. Just let go. Let the loud, obnoxious self and the meek and feel sorry for myself self, let it go. It's not serving you at all, because the love of God is being blocked when those two are playing within your life. So it satisfies our needs when we are in need. So when your heart is filled with love, you will not be critical or irritable, but you will be divinely irresistible. Oh, I love that word. I've got it down now again. I was getting it mixed up with another word. So I want you to affirm that with me. I am the love of God. Say that. I am the love of God in expression.
In expression.
That's very helpful, isn't it? I am the love of God in expression. We say all the time that we are expressing God through us. We are God's instruments. You know, we can enjoy beautiful flowers and pretty trees and wonderful friends and all that. And we are the expression of God. They are the expression of God. Everything is the expression of God. So I don't have a one-upsmanship on anybody. We're all the very same beloved children. And the important thing is that our depth of our character understands that. So I am the love of God in expression. That is helpful, and it's fast, you know. And then you can throw in irresistible anytime you want. Because in that healing process, to know that I am the love of God in expression is a starting point. It's not the end point. It's the starting point. Because then you will be surprised at how much of yourself you give away. And you know, what you give away, you get back tenfold. And so you're going to be experiencing that love. You really are. Trust me. As I said, go out. I double dare you to try it. Meet a homeless person or someone that looks in need or someone who looks wealthy or what, it doesn't matter. Look at them in the eye and smile. But you have to prep yourself first. You have to be working on that first. You have to go into prayer and meditation and say, God, use me. Use me to be the expression of you. Pray it. Think it. It will become real to you after a while. Because as a child of God, we must be expressors of that love. We can't be, you know, God doesn't know hate. God doesn't know discrimination. God only knows love. You know, the answer is love, so what's the question? So I wanted to close with a couple of things. One of them is something that May Rowland wrote. As I said, she was the head of Unity for years and years. She wrote, "Love is the power that is behind the silent Unity work. We love the persons who write to us for help. We see beyond their needs or failures and behold the perfect, wonderful self in each one. We behold the perfection of all who turn to us. And in the name of the irresistible love of the Christ, we call it forth in mind, body, and affairs." All right, I'm on board. I'm on board. I had a Buddhist prayer, or a poem actually. it says it's about sharing the highest love. And it's love is not extreme liking. Love is not passionate, but compassionate. Remember, we talked about that at the beginning. Love is not blind, but sees everyone as family. Love doesn't burn, but cools the fires of lust. We get that mixed up, don't we? I did. Whoa, I spent 50 years not figuring that out. Love is not personal, but human. Love is not personal, it's human. We all have it. It's in all of us. And our job here is to allow people to express it back to us because we're expressing it, we're giving them the freedom to do it. Love does not patronize, but emphasizes. Love emanates. Love engulfs. Love radiates on rocky crag and furrowed field alike. I can love people that I don't know. I can love people I don't like. There's a difference. You know, I used to say to my daughter, I love you, but I do not like you right now. That would be when she was throwing all of her clothes over the deck because she was running away. And I can even love those that I love. So even when I was being a crummy mom, then I could still love her and I could love myself. So I love you all. I truly, truly do. And I'm going to take this feeling that I have right now that John and Judy nurture and provide. And I'm going to take this feeling and your beautiful music with me today. And I'm going to take it with me through the week. And I'm going to remember you. I will. I will see you in my eye of my mind, eye of God. And I am grateful. So please be my Valentine. Thank you.